During this election month, an ongoing theme we've encountered is cynicism. Which makes sense. The last 50 years, when all of these movies have been made, has been particularly rough for most people, as politicians have continuously sold us out. Hollywood is often called liberal, but liberalism itself has changed with the rest of politics. From the beginning of the month, we've kind of been able to track that change in real time.
It's nice to be talking to an audience of working people, because I can congratulate you on having jobs. You do have jobs, don't you? How many are out of work? Well, the unemployment figure for this state is 8%. Think of it.
The candidate, all the way back in 1972, served as a prescient warning about fading liberal idealism when faced with the reality of the American political system. Instead of heeding the warning presented as farce with Bill McKay's "There's Gotta Be a Better Way,"
I say there has got to be a better way. To me, that's what this election is all about.
Many politicians took the move to the right strategy as a manual for political success. By the Clinton era in the 1990s, liberalism was completely unrecognizable from what it had been in the age of Lyndon Johnson and Bobby Kennedy.
The Democratic Party don't care about the African American community.
Isn't that obvious? Hey, you got half of your kids out of work and the other half are in jail. Do you see any Democrat doing anything about it? Certainly not me.
The concern for the poor, for racial progress, and a better society for the vast majority of people had slowly eroded into a mean, dog-whistling corporatization that put the interests of capital way above the people.
You had a rap singer here last night named Sister Soldier. I defend her right to express herself through music, but her comments before and after Los Angeles were filled with the kind of hatred that you do not honor today and tonight.
This led liberal Democrats outside of politics who had once looked up to towering figures like the Kennedys to wonder what the hell had happened. Warren Beatty was once the premier star of New Hollywood along with Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman, and Jack Nicholson. They made up a new class of actor who was edgy and on the forefront of both edgy cinema and often the new politics. Warren Beatty starred with Faye Dunaway in Bonnie and Clyde, a movie that purposely evaded easy answers about morality and a society that was evolving in the 1960s.
This year's Miss Bonnie Parker.
Glad to meet you.
I'm Clyde Barrett.
Right.
We robbed banks.
Beatty was a huge supporter of Bobby Kennedy's ill-fated 1968 campaign against Lyndon Johnson's Vietnam policy and Hubert Humphrey once LBJ elected not to run. In 1972, Beatty served as an advisor to George McGovern and campaigned against Nixon's continuation of Vietnam. By the 1990s, that idealism and optimism had drained away. Politicians no longer seemed to want to fight for their constituents.
Today, as we stand on the threshold of a new era and a new millennium, I believe we need a new kind of leadership. Leadership not mired in the politics of the past.
Reaganism had overtaken the Democratic Party, and the Civil Rights Movement had long since fizzled out.
We stand at the doorstep of a new millennium. Our obligation is to
Listen to
reduce
this, I put a little time in on this.
And at the same time restore its creative power.
Warren Beatty wrote and directed Bulworth in 1998, maybe the most cynical movie we've looked at yet. Beatty plays Senator J. Billington Bulworth, a once liberal fan of Bobby Kennedy, who has since conceded to the conservative swing of the American political system. J. Billington Bulworth is a lot what I'd imagine Bill McKay and the candidate would be like after 3 long decades in the California Senate.
I can't.
Written in the wake of Clinton's failure to pass the universal health care plan, the main antagonist is the health insurance industry, embodied by Paul Servino as a Southern lobbyist.
Every one of these motherfuckers there, the insurance companies.
Insurance!
Yo, you can call it single payer or Canadian way. Only socialized medicine will ever save the day. Come on now, let me hear that dirty word. Socialism!
Bulworth has agreed to bottle up a healthcare committee bill in exchange for $10 million in life insurance. He plans to take out the $10 million policy and then have a hit put on himself so his family can collect. On the plane ride to California, Bulworth realizes he doesn't want to die. The constant threat of death frees Bulworth to begin to actually start telling the truth about the American political system for the first time in decades.
But white people got more in common with colored people than they do with rich people. We just got to eliminate them.
Eliminate.
Eliminate.
Who, rich people?
White people. Damn. Black people too. Brown people, yellow people. Get rid of them all. All we need
Is a voluntary, free-spirited, open-ended program of procreative racial deconstruction.
A big part of what convinces Bulworth to snap is that his primary opponent is a much younger, more neoconservative politician who challenges Bulworth from the right. Beatty's original idea was to have a man take out a huge life insurance policy and a hit on himself, but then fall in love. Halle Berry stars along with Beatty as Nina, one of Bulworth's South Central constituents who he falls in love with as he raps and dances through the Compton ghetto of the 1990s. Beatty has said that the intersection between politics and hip-hop culture was just supposed to heighten the absurdity of the comedy, but Bulworth has a lot to say about class, race, and the death of liberal idealism. It also places Bulworth squarely in the strange position as a truth-telling and highly imperfect liberal white savior. But Warren Beatty purposely undercuts this by killing Bulworth off at the end before he can actually fulfill his idealist vision, or really do anything, turning him into a martyr. Bulworth is also known for having a pretty fire soundtrack, cutting down the original Ennio Morricone music for original songs like Ghetto Superstar by ODB and Pros, and a title song, Bulworth, by Prodigy and Method Man.
Live and direct to your TV set from the Bulworth soundtrack, we got Proswell, Maya, and my man Big Baby Jesus doing it to you. Ghetto Superstar, baby.